Okay, because last time you did spoons for us, you played the guitar, and then this time you had banjo. What do you call it, a mouth organ or a harmonica?
It's called a harmonica, and of course harmonicas were, I guess, invented in the early 1830s, but really not perfected until 1870 or so. And if you were to ask me about musical instruments of all sorts that we have in this country, we really don't have any true folk instruments out there we can say that belongs to us. They seem to derive from other instruments, even the basic instruments. And the harmonica, of course, came from over in Europe. And the reason people call it the organ is because it does sound like a mouth organ. Okay. And can you imagine in 1875 or 1880 going to a music store and a fellow behind the counter saying, "I'd like to sell you one of these." Well, you had to have one. Okay. And of course, it didn't take too many years for this to be a very popular American instrument. Well, the banjo comes from Africa, and it was the slaves that first played the banjo many years ago. And they kind of played like this here. We call it the claw hammer style. And we don't know very much about the banjo except from what was written in the 1700s and so. There was a fellow by the name of Thomas Jefferson. You might have heard of him. Okay. Old Tom told us that he went down to slave quarters and he actually documented some of the music that was being played at that time. And he was tricky. He waited two weeks later and went back down there and doggone it. And when he asked them to play the same tune, they were playing the same tune. So we know that, at least on his plantation, they had a repertoire of music. And of course, white musicians began to play the instrument in the early 1800s. It changed a lot over the years. And of course, the style I play is something related to the way that was played back a couple hundred years ago. It's old clawhammer style. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pluck out the melody, strum real quick, and hit this top string. A little tune here called Cripple Creek.
Excellent, excellent. How difficult is it to play the harmonica and struck the banjo?
Well, you certainly can't start off by doing that. You have to learn each instrument quite well, and a good bit of practice. I think anybody can do it, but it's somewhat difficult at first. It takes years and years of practice and planning.
All right, now what else do you have with you? Do you have your spoons?
I do have my spoons.
Okay, you had that. You have so much, and you actually teach the students how to play the kazoo, correct?
Right now, in one of my skits that we're going to be doing tomorrow, we've working into the kazoo, and it's a fun little instrument. It teaches them, with the kazoo, if you could hum it, you could play it. Okay. And it's an easy instrument, but I've heard some kazoo groups out there just amazing when we talk about kazooing and harmony and those kind of things like that. It certainly is very amazing. Some of the old blues guys used to do stuff like that.
Okay, then. All right. Well, can we get a sample?
Wonderful.
Okay, so you have your kazoo. So you're going to do kazoo and spoons at the same time.
I'm going to give it a try.
Now, where did the spoons come in at? I mean, who actually started playing that?
Well, again, there is a group of musical instruments out there that we can claim to be our own, but these instruments come from traditional sources, or if you will, from tools or laying around the house, like the old saws or the washboards and things like that. And of course, a lot of experts believe metal spoons folks began playing the metal spoons in the early 1800s when the Industrial Revolution allowed folks like myself and yourself, all of us common folks, to be able to go out and afford to go buy some.
Oh, okay.
And there's always an argument whether it was the African American community or the white community that started spoon playing. I tend to think it was probably a combination of both there.
All right, let's see what you got.
Okay, I'm going to take the spoons. I'm going to hold them in my right hand. And one spoon is held sort of like this here. You just put the thumb on top of the spoon. And the other one, in this case, the other one will go between my middle finger and ring finger. But traditionally, you hold them like this here. And these are big old spoons. I'm going to keep a little rhythm here and play a little tune here called Black Eyed Susie with a kazoo.
Excellent.
Segment